the Tudor Dixon podcast. Tudor Dixon, along with the host of the Dana Show, Dana Loesch. Ladies, great to see both of you. Tudor, to you first on this.
Thanks for having me.
Kamala Harris gets a few softballs there, and she gets no, applause here for stopping to answer questions, which was this close to being like, what color lipstick are you wearing? But meantime, the American people have record credit card debt. They're paying more than $500 billion in interest on that credit card debt, all because the inflation skyrocketed under Kamalanomics. And you doggone well know, despite the fact she hasn't said anything, that her policies will be even worse than what we've seen the last 3.5 years.
Absolutely. Take note that as she's walking up to the podium or up to the reporters, you can see her staff tries to stop her and she mouths, no, I'm going to walk over there. They don't even trust her to go over there. They're so afraid of what's going to come out of her mouth with reporters that they know are going to throw softballs at her. This is what we're looking at right now. We're looking at a media that is in complete defense of a radical, and her running mate is a total radical. That's why Donald Trump had to do what he had to do today. He's the only one that can take over the airwaves and go out and tell the truth about who Kamala Harris is, because otherwise you're not going to see the CNNs and the MSNBCs being honest or letting anyone on the other side talk about it.
You know, Dana, it's a good point that Tudor makes. The media is in the can, as we can expect, for Kamala Harris, and Kamala obviously an empty suit. They're running the basement strategy. The fact that she's been running for president for almost 3 weeks, and then she comes to the press today and says, I'll talk to you maybe in another 3 weeks. She's going to go 6 weeks, run for president, and no interviews. And the press is okay with that.
Yeah. And early voting. Let's not forget
Yes.
early voting starts for some states in like 5 weeks. So she's going to schedule her next interview just in a few weeks. There's a major difference that everyone can see, even the press, if they're honest, between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Trump enjoys talking to the press. I've never seen anyone who actually enjoys being in front of the camera, hanging out with people that have open mics as much as he does. He's not afraid of them, and he just enjoys it. Whereas Kamala Harris looks at it as a burden. Instead of, at the bare minimum, looking at members of the press who still kiss the ring, which just blows my mind, but that's a whole other issue. She looks at, instead of looking at them as a vehicle through which to speak to the nation, she looks at them as a burden, a box that she has to check. And I have to add, for someone who is reportedly so accomplished and so ambitious and so motivated, I have never seen anyone more unprepared for a moment that has called them, as her party has, as Kamala Harris is. She is one of the most, if not the most, disappointing candidates that the Democrat Party has ever run in its history. I mean, we even thought Barack Obama was disappointing. He had a very short record. He was brand new. Kamala Harris even more so, because hers is a record of tit for tat. What can you do for me? What can I do for you in return? And it shows. And the media better wise up. They better wise up to this. I know that they're hungry for this power adjacency, but you know what? We're also hungry for facts, and they're going to get shut out pretty quick.
I can't wait. I hope one person on planet Earth actually ask her to explain economic, fiscal, and monetary policy and how we got to where we are, and her plans. Like, give me a 10-point plan on how you're going to get us out of this. It would just be an utter meltdown. But speaking of incompetence, where in the world's Joe Biden been? Old Joe coming out of hiding today, and he's in the same semi-coherent state that he left us in.
I played 7 feet. I have a hell of an arm. I don't have it. I'll give you another 2 inches. Thank you. All right, what am I doing now?
Joe and Jill are also expected to greet campaign staff in Wilmington, Delaware, though the event is closed to press. We might get to see him do that shuffle he does on and off Air Force One. Don't you miss that. Tudor, who's running the country? The Middle East is in flames. Iran is about to, go to war with Israel, and we're funding that by allowing Iran to export $100 billion in oil.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. We've never seen Russian and Chinese jets fly together, but they did the day that Joe Biden decided to announce that he was stepping out of the campaign and address the nation. This is embarrassing, but this is very dangerous. We're looking at another 6 months of not knowing who's running the country, but that means our adversaries also know that no one knows who's running the country. Even my daughter said, does this make Kamala Harris president now? Who is the president? I mean, people are watching and they are wondering who is at the helm. Certainly not this guy. I mean, we look at this video that you're showing, how humiliating, but our adversaries are watching. This is the scary part. And this is where we cannot let Democrats off the hook. They knew that this was happening. They allowed this to happen. They continue to allow this to happen behind the scenes. This is who our president of the United States is. And no one is saying, wait a minute, there's no one captaining this ship right now. And they're not even holding Kamala Harris accountable for this. How can we not hold her accountable for this? She is the vice president. She is the only one with the power to stand up and say, this man is not capable of running the country. And yet she has not done it. And no one is saying boo about the fact that he is clearly cognitively incapable of doing anything in the form of leadership.
And Dana, to that point, clearly, we don't know who's running the country. We know it's not Joe Biden. The problem, though, is when the media pretends like this is normal, that you have a president who's cognitively declining and not in charge, most Americans don't see it as a problem because the media doesn't see it as a problem, and they think this is normal when it's anything but.
I agree with you. I think, Sean, I think that's a good way to characterize it. The world's holding its breath, I think, and waiting to see, watching our allies and our enemies, waiting to see what America does in November. Because not only is Joe Biden MIA, and I mean, with all of the economic headlines we've had, the deluge at the border, the petrodollar destroyed, I mean, we could go on and on. This is the last exit off the highway to Marxism, and that's not hyperbole. That's real. This is the last exit. Everybody's waiting and watching. And what's worse, as was mentioned, too, as you guys were all talking about, have you looked at Kamala Harris's website? I mean, have you looked at her campaign website? If you tried to find out, just as Dagan was saying, can she explain economic policy? If you tried to find out what Kamala Harris was going to do to restore the petrodollar, what she was going to do to maybe make it to where we have more refining capabilities in the United States, what she's going to do about rare earth elements and Chinese monopoly, there is nothing on her website, economic-wise, anything with domestic policy, international, nothing that explains it. The best we have are TikTok videos. She's paying influencers. The Biden campaign, paying influencers. That's all they're doing. Paying influencers, that's the closest that we get to any kind of policies, watching some people dance to like remixed versions of her speeches. It is terrifying. And I know we joke about it, and because I mean, it's sad and it's also funny because this is the best they got while we as Republicans enjoy, 5 rows deep as a bench. But this is terrifying because anything could happen from now into November, and anything will after November.
It's a sad state of affairs for the country and for the Democrat Party. Tudor, Dana, thanks for being with us. We always appreciate it.